If you spend most of your daylight hours struggling to spin Donald Trump's flailing presidency into a positive, this week was not a good week for you. On that note, let's check in on Ben Shapiro.
I don't think there was collusion between Trump and Russia. I do not think that the Trump campaign was actively working with the Russians in order to shape the election or in order to release emails from Hillary Clinton.
Just to rewind, this week the special counsel announced the indictment of 12 Russians, most of whom worked for the main directorate, Russia's intelligence agency formerly known as the GRU. The indictment is the clearest evidence yet that the Russian government coordinated the packing and release of emails, files, and other data, mostly from the Democratic Party, in addition to successfully hacking into a small amount of voter data. Shapiro hasn't denied what the US intelligence community has concluded time and time again, that Russia tried to influence the US election process in 2016 for their own strategic purposes. But Shapiro helps the conservative cause by casting doubt on the surrounding aspects of the investigation. For example, he devoted time on his show to the Peter Strzok hearings, without contextualizing them by noting that the House Intelligence Committee has been the most partisan of all the Russian-related investigators. Oh, and the House Intel Committee's claim is that an anti-Trump text message sent in a private conversation proves that the entire investigation is drummed up. Shapiro has defended Trump by arguing,
I don't think there was collusion between Trump and Russia. I do not think that the Trump campaign was actively working with the Russians in order to shape the election or in order to release emails from Hillary Clinton via WikiLeaks or any of that sort of thing. I don't think there's any evidence of that whatsoever.
Keep that last part of the statement in mind. This set of indictments confirms information uncovered last year by a publication known somewhat humorously as the Smoking Gun. To quote the indictment directly, on or about August 15, 2016, the conspirators posing as Guccifer 2.0 wrote to a person who was in regular contact with senior members of the presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump. Quote, "Thank you for writing back. Do you find anything interesting in the docs I posted?" On or about August 17, 2016, the conspirators added, "Please tell me if I can help you anyhow. It would be a great pleasure to me." The conversation was via Twitter DM, and the person mentioned was Roger Stone, who has been an on and off confidant of Trump's for 30 years and pushed him to run for president as early as the 90s. It's unclear whether or not the conversation continued on another channel. Around the same week as that Twitter exchange, Stone tweeted publicly that Guccifer 2.0 was a, quote, hero, and that it would soon be Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta's time in the barrel. He went on to brag about WikiLeaks' upcoming dump of emails from the Clinton campaign weeks before it happened. What was that, Ben?
I don't think there's any evidence of that whatsoever.
The same week these indictments dropped, Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Helsinki, where they jointly denied the findings of American intelligence agencies.
All I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
Trump later walked back the statements, kind of, saying that he did believe the conclusion of America's intelligence agencies, only to say that it also could have been other people too?
It should have been obvious. I thought it would be obvious, but I would like to clarify just in case it wasn't. In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, or why it wouldn't be Russia.
Look, there's no definitive proof yet that the Trump campaign colluded with the Russian government in order to win the election. But there's plenty of circumstantial evidence that could potentially lead to proof that Ben Shapiro voraciously denies the existence of.
I don't think there's any evidence of that whatsoever.
There are people who are under investigation already who have decided to cooperate with the Mueller probe in order to avoid harsher jail time. This includes Papadopoulos, Flynn, Manafort, Gates, among others. We know about the Trump family's deep connections to Deutsche Bank, which paid millions in fines after getting caught money laundering for Russian oligarchs. We know Donald Trump is the most powerful, prominent, pathological liar in the world.
I don't think there's any evidence of that whatsoever.
But to Shapiro, we as the American public needn't even be suspicious as to whether or not Trump and Putin are working together. He loves to say that you can't have things both ways when it comes to Trump. His theory is that Trump's large ego prevents him from admitting that the Russians may have helped him in the election and that he didn't win it all by himself like a big boy. So why then does Trump want to project strength at all times except in front of the one person that mounting evidence suggests he may have a deal with? Why does Trump want to project strength every time but now? One can and should argue that while there is a trove of potential evidence that suggests the collusion or collaboration of some kind, there is no definitive proof yet. But there's definitely evidence, and Ben is telling you not to believe your lying eyes when it comes to things our lying president claims to be truthful about. It's a completely BS argument.
I don't think there's any evidence of that whatsoever.